And now I'd like to introduce Muriel Anderson.
Thank you. Well, I had mentioned that I was going to have a surprise guest here, and we have been having so much fun playing some tunes. I thought I'd bring him up to do a few tunes right at the beginning of the show before his segment at the end. We'll do them together. So please welcome my guest, Tom Castle. While I'm getting tuned up, I'd like to say that it's just really great to see you all here, just to feel your energy. I feel like love coming from the audience like this, and that's what this is about. And we've been doing it, 30 years. So, I mean, how many of you right now would like to go back in time a few years? Okay, well, big show of hands. Yeah, me too. And if you were to go back probably more years than I care to admit, in this very building, you would see a young girl playing her first ever gig, her first ever paid gig, in the basement of this building, which is the Two-Way Street Coffee House. Yeah. Oh, you were there. Oh, fantastic. Wow. So I want to thank Dave Humphreys for hiring me to play that gig. And he's here today, and he was a facilitator for us to be here as well. And this is also the first place I did my annual Saturday after Thanksgiving concert. So a big hand for Dave Humphreys for making all this come together. Yeah, I remember that night we got paid $20 for the night for the three of us. And we were just so excited that somebody would actually pay us money to do what we love, to play music. And so I said, this is the beginning right here. And that was an amazing night. Well, this past year I've done some live stream concerts. And at one I decided to do a little contest. And I said, well, for the person who wins the contest, I'll write a song for them. Well, Frank Fido won that contest, and he told me, okay, I'd like you to write a song in honor of my wife and how she liked to watch the hot air balloons. And could you write it in Dad-Gad tuning? So that's this tuning, D-A-D-G-A-D. And so I thought, well, just to make it a little more challenging, I'd write it in the key of A instead of the usual key of D for this. And this is what it turned out to be. Also, I was on the sailboat as I was writing this, so you can definitely feel the rhythm of the sailboat. And I call this Let Loose and Fly. And Tom, you can just do a little percussion with me on this.
That's
one.
me.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Well, Tom, you know, I didn't know how hard it would be to find somebody who does sailor songs, a real sailor who does sailor songs, you know, in the Chicago area. So I'm really glad that I found you. Yeah. So, have you ever found that when you're sailing, it seems like the wind is always going at the wrong direction?
Yes.
You see, there you go.
Canoeing, too, actually.
Ah, really? So when we took that 2-month sail up the coast of Maine this past summer, it just seemed like we were fighting the wind the whole way. We said, okay, it's going to be so easy to go back now. So as soon as we're ready to turn around, we're way up in Maine, and then the wind decides to change direction at that point, and we're waiting and waiting for that easterly wind to push us along. And finally, a storm came in, and Brian said, well, at least the wind is going in the right direction. We're going to follow the storm. And so in the tailwinds of the storm, it was a little bumpy, you know, coming back, but at least the wind was going in our direction. So I thought I'd write a song to the wind, beseeching it to go in our direction. And I call this Favorable Winds.
Smoothly ripple the sea, like a touch I remember, sure and steady, then I'll soon home.
When we left Fire Island, come a rainy east wind, we were tacking our way along the shore. A Montauk fisherman waved us in, Rock Island blew their horns.
Mornings are golden above the splash of my oars as I rowed back to our Grampian sloop. But Cuddy Hunk beckons with old shipwreck shores and the vineyard that Martha once grew.
Favorable winds accompany my journey to smoothly ripple the sea. Billow my sails, gentle and full, then I'll soon be home.
There have been blustery storms, there have been days much too cold. Give me a steady wind on the beam, whatever way I roam.
From the brisk woods whole current through Buzzards Bay, we shot through the Cape Cod Canal. Wind against wave made white horses play, and seagulls plunge into the swell.
Then came the crossing by day and by night, accompanied by dolphins and whales. Tired and glad to see Monhegan's light, onward through Maine we would sail. Between foggy islands we bided our time till the buoy whistle would moan. Alas, when the easterly finally arrived, 'twas a gale that would bring us back home.
The surf was raucous, the winds were whistling, hour after hour at the helm. Many a wave splashed over our side, but we followed the storm just as well.
Is my home on this Grampian sloop? Is my home on the sea? is my home, that cottage on shore, or will it soon heavenly be?
Favorable winds accompany my journey. Forever on the nose, may you linger no more. Won't you be fair? My sails are ready.
Then I'll soon
home.
like a touch I remember, sure and steady. Then I'll soon home.
Sailing Dream?
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. I want to thank Brian, who has been doing the visuals. And can you back it up one? And I sang them in the wrong order, so he had the visuals going for the song before. Can you back it up? So, if you don't mind a little pause in the screen time. But this is a tune that is very special to me. That it's so special that I forgot to sing it. You know. So go figure that. It's because it came entirely in a dream, and I was dreaming that I was sailing the boat. I was at the helm, and this great big wave came, threw the boat up into the air. I was so excited and happy to be up in the air that I wasn't even worried about the next wave coming. So it was, a very fictional type of a dream, yes. But then a little later in the dream, I heard this music playing. I looked around and I realized the music was in my head, a fully produced song. And I thought in my dream, well, this is a gift, this song, this lady singing this song in my head. And when I woke up, I remembered the entire song. I remembered the lyrics, the melody, the two guitar parts, the bass, and the drums. And so it's only the second time this has happened. So it was this song that made me think, maybe this sailing trip, this upcoming sailing trip, is going to result in an album. And I've had enough ideas that it's starting to culminate now into a full album. And Brian, you're there? Great. Okay. So this is the real visuals that go to a Sailing Dream.
I'd like to sail the world again, feel the wind above the waves, and live from day to day, where life is not predictable, wondering what is round the very next bay. I'd like to raise the sails again, watching for the whales again, and never have to say, I wish that I had done the things that I can't do, and I'm too old to play. To breathe again, love again, laugh again, laugh again in real life. Despite the tides, worst of times, best of times, follow right behind. The mainsail is unfurled again, to be part of this world again on my time. I'd like to pull the anchor in, sail to where I've never been, with sunset on our lee. Awaken to the sparkles on the water, then I'm feeling free. To jibe again, tack again, I am now back again in real life. I'd like to sail the world again, feel the wind not predictable, wondering what is round the very next bay. I'd like to pull the anchor in, sail to where I've never been with sunset on our lee. Awaken to the sparkles on the water, that I'm feeling free. I'd like to sail the world again. I'd like to sail the world again. Ooh.
Thank you. Hang on a second. Just a second. Well, what do you think? Do you want to hear the other one again with the real visuals that go with it, just for Brian's sake? Should we, let's have a vote. Should we do that one again? The favorable winds? Okay. All right. Yeah, Brian did some great visuals. Okay. Okay. So this is take two, favorable winds.
Okay.
All right.
Oh,
Yeah, right.
can you move it up a step? There we go.
Oh, yeah.
Favorable wind. Okay, I'll give it a try.
Good if I had a kid.
Could you?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Oh, say, well, I've never done it.
Okay, never mind. No,
So-
I'll do it. I'll do it.
Okay, well, just ignore the funny notes that are going to come in from time to time.
Yeah.
And okay, this is favorable winds in a key that we've never played it in before.
Because I usually don't.
With the
Usually don't sing it that low. I
Yes.
could get through it once tonight, but twice.
okay.
Favorable winds accompany my journey. Won't you smoothly ripple the sea? Like a touch I remember, sure and steady, then I'll soon home.
We left Fire Island, come a rainy east wind. We were tacking our way along the shore. A Montauk fisherman waved us in, and Block Island blew their horns.
Well, mornings are golden by the splash of my horse as I rode back to our Grampian sloop. But Cuddy Hunt beckons with old shipwreck shores and the vineyard that Martha once grew.
Favorable winds accompany my journey. Won't you smoothly ripple the sea? Billow my sails, gentle and full, then I'll soon hold.
Well, there have been blustery storms, and there have been days much too calm. Give me a steady wind on the beam, whatever way I roam.
The brisk would hold currents through Buzzard's Bay. We shot through the Cape Cod Canal. Wind against a wave made white horses play, and seagulls plunge into the swell.
Then came the crossing by day and by night, accompanied by dolphins and whales. Tired but glad to see Monhegan's light, but onward through Maine we would sail. Between foggy islands we bided our time till the buoy whistle would moan. Alas, when the easterly finally arrived, 'twas a gale that would bring us back home.
was raucous, the wind were whistling, hour after hour at the helm. Many a wave splashed over our side, but we followed that storm just as well.
Is my home in this Grampian sloop? Is my home on the sea? Is my home that cottage on shore, or will it soon heavenly be?
Favorable winds accompany my journey, forever on the nose may you linger no more. Won't you be fair, my sails are ready, then I'll soon hold.
Like a touch I remember, sure and steady, then I'll soon hold.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Tom. And let's say have a hand for Captain Bryan over there for the visuals, the real ones. Well, where we left from wasn't all that bad, Fire Island Inlet, especially when we came back in the fall and after all the vacationers had gone, and it was very peaceful. So this is a tune that I call Two Shores. Well, last week we played a few little shows in Florida, and one of them was an outdoor concert, and they asked me if I could do an entire program of French music and sing some in French. And I said, well, of course. And then went about trying to figure out what I was going to do for this program. And I was thinking about that beautiful song by Don McLean about the life of Vincent van Gogh, and how Van Gogh was such a big part of that Parisian movement, the Impressionist movement. And so I was wondering, how would those lyrics be if I translated them to French? And so Google Translate and I got together and did this translation, and then I modified it so that it would fit the rhyme and the rhythm a little better, and I think it works remarkably well in French. So I'll start off instrumental, and then I'll go to the French lyrics and see if you think so.
Avec les yeux qui connaissent mes ténèbres, ombre sur le colis. Et puis sont les arbres, les fleurs, les brises, les livres, les frissons, les vières, la terre des rubans blancs en sous colère. Maintenant je comprends ce que Jésus essaie de me dire. Tu as souffert pour ta sainte esprit, essaie de les libérer. Ils coûtaient pas pour ils n'ont pas su. Peut-être que jamais peu. Ils ne pourront pas ta mère, mais ton mort était vrai. Aucun espoir n'était lassé en vous. In cette nuit étoilée, tu pris la vie comme un fou suivant les mots. J'aurais pu te dire Vincent, ça monte jamais été fait pour lui, aussi que beau que toi.
Thank you. It was Mark who came up and asked me just before the show to tell you something about this instrument. This is a harp guitar that I had built for me because I had one of the original ones that were built right between, well, it was a copy of an original that was built between 1890 and 1910. in Chicago by the Larson brothers. But this instrument was too big to carry with me, so I asked a builder if he could make one that would fit in the overhead bin of an airplane. So that was the primary prerequisite for this instrument. And it's an instrument that had a popularity for a very short period of time. But actually, ones like this with six strings here and six strings in the bass, like most of them have, was first invented in Paris. And so they called it a bisex, actually, meaning two. I guess that means something a little different now, doesn't it? But two necks with six strings on them. But this is this instrument. Then it was just going to be a practice guitar. But then I said, well, while you're at it, can you make these half-step tuners so I can change the tuning like that, just with the flipping the peg, and then a little later on, I asked him if he could make these super trebles on there. So it has steel string super trebles and nylon string subs. So it worked out great for traveling, and can do a lot of the music that I had in my head that I was writing. But I didn't think I would be on a sailboat. So then I just got this. This is only a few weeks old. This is carbon fiber, and it doubles as a flotation device. So this has been great to have for the sailboat. It's not bothered by the humidity or the occasional wave splashing over the side, it also. This one doesn't have the super treble, so I had this built in Switzerland by Luke Brunner, and this just attaches to any instrument. He's calling them Muriel trebles. And then the carbon fiber instrument is built in Ireland by Emerald, so it's an international instrument I have here. So I was thinking about doing a tune that I just finished yesterday. So do you think I should do it? Yeah, okay. So, well, just because it has a good story. When we were being chased by one of the storms and looking for a nice safe place to anchor in between islands, we sailed right in there, and there was another boat anchored there. It was a schooner from 1871 called the Stephen Tabor, one of two windjammers that was out this past year, and taking some tourists out for a sail in this vintage boat. And so we anchored there not too far away, and I said to Brian, what do you think about seeing if we can board that boat? Can you do your best Blackbird the Pirate impersonation? And I put my carbon fiber instrument on my back as a weapon. I had just a regular guitar at that time I had, carbon fiber. And so we just rowed over to the boat and said, we're taking over the ship. And the captain came over to the side and said, I'm Captain Noah, and I need a day off, so come on board. So we boarded the ship, and he showed us, all these cool things about it. And then, he said, you play that thing? And he had mentioned something about having a steel string guitar hanging in his cabin. And it turned out he was a blues player. And we ended up playing until late at night. And so a little while later, there was a race of these beautiful antique boats, and the Stephen Tabor was in there, and we were watching them go, and the Stephen Tabor turned and cut right in front of us, right? And then as we looked, the captain waved to us as we were going back. So I thought, well, I've got to write a song now called Captain Noah. So this is it. Today's version. Okay. Great. deadly into a little Chet Atkins Jerry Reed tune. Well, I do have another surprise guest, all the way from country of Tuva, near Mongolia. Well, it's a virtual surprise guest. So when we were making our cookbook, you know, the Acoustic Chef cookbook with music for each recipe from around the world, just some Tuvan throat singers happened to come through town. And so I've never, you know, even heard of this little country of Tuva, let alone heard their music, and they did amazing things with their voices. They made like 3 different sounds at once. It was like a sheep and a whistle and this other sound. And just when you thought it wasn't going to get weirder, it gets weirder, you know, in a cool way, you know. So I asked them afterward, well, could you teach me a recipe from your country, something very traditional? And they said, oh yes, we can. Let me see if I can find it here. It's in the Acoustic Chef, and so it's these lamb dumplings that are just amazing. Yeah, here they are. Well, you'll see them in the video as we go, but they're just delicious and unique. I've never seen them anywhere. So I asked them if they would just give me the list of ingredients to make this. They, through their interpreter, they said, well, some flour and egg and a live sheep. So I thought that was really cooking from scratch. They were actually going to do that. Can you believe that? And later on I asked them how, and they were serious. So, but they agreed to ground lamb for our purposes. And so I thought, well, I'll write a tune in their style. So I studied their music and also their culture, and realized that a lot of the culture really reveres the horse, because it's still primarily a nomadic culture, and the shepherding is the major industry there. And so I wrote this to the rhythm of the trotting of a horse, and they are actually singing and playing their unique instruments, one of which is a single-string instrument that makes a sound kind of like a horse whinny. It's incredible. So they're going to join me virtually along with this, a tune I call the Tuvan Horseman. Thank you. What did you think of that? Wasn't that cool, cool stuff? Yeah, yeah, great. Thank you to the Tuvan guys. Yeah. Well, Brian and I had a really interesting experience when we were up in Maine, and it was the night of the Perseid meteor shower. And we thought it was just going to be overcast that night, so we just went to sleep. But I woke up when two owls were singing quite loudly, and I reached over and there was no Brian there. So I figured, oh, he must be out with his big camera taking pictures of the meteor shower. So I poked my head out of the hatch, and sure enough, the stars were going like this. I'd never seen a meteor shower like this before. And I looked over, and at the little island, I saw a flashlight going there. So I figured, okay, that's Brian. And then I could tell it was because when he started rowing back, I could see the oars in the water from all the luminescence. There was this blue-green ripple in the water as he was rowing out towards me. So between the shooting stars reflected in the water and the luminescence, it was quite a light show that night. And so I'll play this one for you, and this is called Night Lights. Thank you. Thank you. I would really like to thank a lot of people for making these concerts possible. I couldn't do this myself, and I want to thank Lisa and Jeff at the ticket table. And right after this intermission, we're going to have a drawing. So if they have any more little raffle slips to put in there, we'll draw for the guitar from Tobias Music. And this year they gave a beautiful nylon string. This is a classical an electric guitar. It's even got a tuner built in. It's a really cool guitar, really nice instrument. So somebody's going to get that. Maybe I'll see if I can play it before they get it today. You know, I just like to flirt with guitars. And also to thank my parents who've just been so supportive. I have the greatest parents in the world. Let's give them a hand. I know a lot of you know them. Andrea and Ted, yeah. And also, please visit Mike and Pam at the CD table. They have done this every year for many years, and they are just a wonderful family. Marguerite and Tom have been great. Olin is not here. He's watching virtually, so great. And of course, I had mentioned Lisa and Jeff. So my entire extended family, and Billy and Andrew. So let's give them all a big hand. Yes. And you've seen these, the posters that have been around. That is from Maximum Printing, and they have been just amazing. We have them do all of our printing. They did our first batch of the Acoustic Chef book. Fantastic printers right here in Downers Grove, and they donated the posters this year. So please give Maximum Printing a hand. So great guys. And as I mentioned, Tobias Music, you know, what a great music store, just a family music store, and they've been so supportive of not only this, but many community events, and so Paul and Ken Tobias have just been wonderful. So, and as well as WDCB. So a lot of you, how many of you found out about this from WDCB? Just a show of hands, okay. There are a few, all right. So, great to see. So I'll finish off this half with one more tune, and then it's, of course, a tradition to visit the CD table, and then we're going to start the second half with the drawing and with our special guest, right, Tom. So it's a tradition here to start, to end off the first half. It has been a tradition a few years, anyway, to end off this with a tune called Under Paris Skies. Yeah, this is the tune, of course, that goes with quiche.
L'accordéon, ta marinée, les ciel de Paris. Et le ciel de Paris a son secret pour lui. Depuis 20 siècles, il était bruit dans notre île de Saint-Louis. Everyone, quand elle est trop jaloux de ses milieux de monde, il fait gronder sous nous sans donner l'éclatant. Mais le ciel de Paris n'est pas longtemps cruel. Pour se faire pardonner, il offre l'arc-en-ciel. Merci beaucoup. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Welcome to the intermission segment. I thought I'd do something special for the online people, and I'll be playing a tune for you, maybe a couple tunes, especially for those watching online. And also, we are doing a giveaway for everyone who's watching now. I came across a box of these souvenir programs, and this is from the All-Star Guitar Night in 2004. And we had Peter Frampton, Adrian Belew, Pete Huttlinger, Dwayne Eddy, Noki Edwards, Khaki King, Led Capana, Frank Vignola. It was just a great show at the Ryman Auditorium in Nashville. So I thought you might like one of these, so I went ahead and autographed them. We'll go ahead and send them out. You will have to pay shipping for it, but while you're at it, it's a good time to pick up some other things. So as everyone's going to the CD table, you can go to the virtual CD table on my website. That's murielanderson.com/shop, or just look for the shop on my website. We have that listed. You don't need a coupon or anything. There's also a special pack we just put up. Okay, well, enough of this stuff. Let's play some music for you. How about a little bit of Fantasía de Fuego? Ole. Well, there's a funny story behind that tune. I might have told you before, but that middle section, when I go down with the melody in the bass, like this, that little part, I had envisioned this kind of Lorenzo Almeida style guitar lead up there. And at that time, Lorenzo Almeida was living in Los Angeles. And I went to the payphones. This was a while ago, right? Do you remember payphones? And I asked the operator, well, is there a Lorenzo Almeida in Los Angeles? And he said, well, she said, yeah, I'm looking. Oh, yes, there is one. I'm connecting you. And I said, wait. And she says, here you go. And I hear this, hello? And I said, Mr. Almeida, yes. And I said, I just wrote this song that's really calling for your playing in the middle of it. And he said, oh, thank you. And I said, I'm coming to Los Angeles next week. And he said, well, I'll pick you up at the airport. We'll go to my studio and we'll record it. I went, what? Is it really going to happen? And sure enough, I gave him my flight information. And I'm on the airplane and thinking, maybe I should have looked up a photo of him, because I didn't really know what he looked like. I just heard him, heard his music. So, you see, this was a while ago, right? And I get to the airport, and there's this man ready to meet me with this young son, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, wouldn't Lorenzo Almeida be older at this point? What's wrong with this picture? And I couldn't quite figure it out until we were in his car on the way to his home studio. And he said, well, I'm so happy you want me to play cello on your album. And it was Valdemar Almeida, no relation. And so, like, what do I do? So finally I had to fess up and tell him that I was really looking for a different guy. But I said, we'll just jam, it'll be fun. And sure enough, I'd never played with a cello before, and he was a great player. He played with a symphony, just beautiful sound. And got me to thinking. And a little while later, I had written an entire album's worth of music for guitar and cello, which I recorded with Julie Adams on her album New Classics for Guitar and Cello, and all the music is published by Mel Bay. So it really started a whole new chapter in my music. So just because of that song, how about that? Well, while you have another page open on your browser there, so you've got another page open to murielanderson.com, looking at the shop, we have a note from Captain Bryan who says, please check out Acoustic Sailing on YouTube. So if you go to the YouTube channel, youtube.com, type in Acoustic Sailing, and that will be our adventures in detail. And it's Brian did some incredible videography for this, and it's really been fun to follow along as we sail up the coast of Maine. So that's if you like that sailing stuff, boy, he's been doing a wonderful job putting that together. So, invitation from Captain Bryan to join us both on Acoustic Sailing. Well, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. We've got a second half coming up, but I want to say some hellos. I see some texts coming in, people saying hi. So hi back to Sandra and Julie, Randy, Elizabeth, Diane, Robert, and Vivian. It's been great to visit some of you on tour. Yeah, I know we're coming back to Florida in February, those Florida people there. And let's see, Jason, Betty, Christopher, and Jim, George, yes, nice of you to stop by. Susan, Tim, Ira, Maureen, Tom, as always, so thank you for tuning in. Lance, Bruce, Angie, Liz, and Andrea, Lydia, Jeffrey, Lois, hello, and Harriet, and Carolyn, Serena, and Barbara. There'll be more of you to get to. I'll go and log on and give personal hellos to some of you that I've missed. And hi, Catherine, Charlemagne, Arnold, Ronald, and Terrence, Patrick, and Roderick, Hal, and Herb, of course. So good to see you, Herb. And Claudette, Daniel, and of course Carla. And it was great doing that interview with you. And so always fun to touch base with old friends. And Rebecca, Jill, Mark, Yes, as always. I hope you're still practicing, Mark. So I am really enjoying my private teaching. I've got that on my website. You just look up the teaching section. Doing more one-on-one teaching now online. So that's been very cool to pick up on that, as well as the True Fire. So and same to you, Ken. So great to see you as well, and Dennis. And I'll do another tune before we get started on our regularly scheduled program, as I say, with the rest of the audience as well. So we'll play a little View from Space. This is the one that's on the Eclipse CD. All right, it'll be just a few more minutes and we'll get started with the second half of our show featuring our special guest, Tom Castle. So that's going to be fun. So hang with us just a little bit more, and thanks so much for sticking around, and see you in a few. Well, is everyone ready to get started again? Yep. Hey. Thank you. Well, it's been a tradition to have my little nephew come up to do the raffle with me, and for all these years. And so the first raffle we're going to draw is for one of the gift packs. Okay, so and then this is let's see, and I'll have Andrew read it because he's got better eyesight than I do.
Weiss Mark. Oh, sorry, Mark Weiss.
Mark Weiss, and Mark is an online person, so we will mail this to him, and so that has a bunch of favorites. It's got the Arioso. That's the one that's all pretty music. Chet Atkins stopped into the studio and happened to play on a couple of tunes on that. And New World Flamenco, that was really great fun doing that with, with Tierra Negra guys, two German flamenco players that are we just had a blast doing this album. Nightlight Daylight, and that's, you can get that with or without the lights, as you know. And then this is the Christmas card. It has Christmas music in it, and then an envelope so you can put 2 stamps on it and send it as a Christmas card. And then Guitarscape Planet that has a lot of tunes on it, the DVD. Okay, so Mark Weiss, you got that, thank you. And now the biggie. All right, let's get your hand. All right. Okay, the biggie is the guitar from Tobias Music, Walden guitar from Tobias Music, and the winner is?
Sandra Artman.
Is Sandra here, or is that or an online? Okay, well, we will mail it to you then, if you're not here, okay. All right, so Sandra Artman will mail you the guitar, and congratulations to Sandra. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. And let's see. I think we're ready now to have our special guest, so please welcome to the stage Tom Castle.
Thank you. Oh, the cuckoo, she's a pretty bird, and she sings and she flies, but she never sings cuckoo till the 4th day of July, till the 4th of July. And the hummingbird outside my window has the purest of tone, but she never will sing, as she thinks that she's alone. She thinks that she's alone. And the nightingale sings so high in the tree, and sometimes she's singing just for me. Yeah, she's singing just for me. Oh, the cuckoo, she's a pretty bird, and she sings as she flies, but she never sings cuckoo till the 4th day of July, till the 4th of July. Thank you so much. Now that happens to be on a EP, And to tell you the truth, I didn't know what an EP was until I made one a couple years ago. So it's just a short 6-song recording that's back there with Muriel's as well. I was thinking about a tuba. Have you anybody seen, look up a movie called Genghis Blues. It is absolutely incredible. Do you remember that old rock tune, Big Old Jet Airliner? Big Old Jet Airliner. The guy who wrote that, his name is Paul Pena. And he, through a very, very long process, listening to Russian shortwave radio, ended up in tuba and became a champion tuba singer, which always leads me to the part which is, you can't make this stuff up. I mean, since we have this beautiful nautical theme tonight, this is a tune which I wrote a long, long time ago, and some of you are familiar with. Back in the day, when I first started getting into Great Lakes maritime music, I did a bunch of research and found that if you found yourself on board a ship this time of year, you were probably 50, 60 feet up in the rigging with a bucket of tar, and you're slushing down the standing rigging, and your mates down below on deck would be putting the sails away and the running gear and building a winter house over the whole deck. And they were probably going to look for jobs in town or maybe in warmer climates. And in the 1980s, I found myself 60 feet up in the rig with a bucket of tar, thinking things had not changed that much. And that's where this tune came from. Cold winds blow across the harbor, cold winds on the inland sea, same winds that called our fathers, cold winds are calling me. Ice forms on deck and whiskers, light a fire and stay below. Shut up tight, the winds all whisper, pass the bottle, it's time to go. Cold winds blow across the harbor, cold winds on the inland sea, same winds that called our fathers, cold winds are calling me. Rise up, and dog the hatches. Mind your hands, they're cracked and sore. Check the lines on your way inland. It's time to get a job ashore. Cold winds blow across the harbor, cold winds on the inland sea, same winds that called our fathers, cold winds are calling me. Sun and spray and full moon autumns, wood and water, frost and stone. Early snows mean early winters. Taste each season as it goes. Cold winds blow across the harbor, cold winds on the inland sea, same winds that called our fathers, cold winds are calling me. Thanks so much. This one, as any songwriter will tell you, you have songs that just appear in your brain. I don't think I've had a complete song in a dream though. I've had parts of them, definitely. But there's a couple songs I wanted to write for a long time, and one of them comes from the fact that when my mom passed away, we did home hospice. And it was one of the strangest things I'd ever seen because she had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma for 6.5 years. And she had a fantastic quality of life all the way up to the last 2 or 3 months. So we had a home hospice, and on her last day, she sat up in bed and looked up there somewhere and said, "Where are we going now?" and died. And it was one of the strangest things I'd ever seen. And I wanted to write a song about it, but year after year would go by, nothing, nothing, nothing. The other thing I wanted to write a song about is one of the few regrets I have. I should have a lot more, but one of the few regrets I really have is that my parents never lived long enough to meet my sweetheart, Mariah, and she never got to meet them. And it's one of those things like, oh, when you want to make that phone call that you can't make anymore and tell them, hey, you wouldn't believe this person I know. So this is definitely for her because she's an ER nurse right now doing a 12 to 14-hour shift. And I was singing at a nursing home about 3-4 years ago, and I was doing what I call campfire songs, just songs that get people singing, And I was doing Down in the Valley. And all of a sudden I started singing, roses love sunshine, violets love dew. And I thought, that's kind of the thing I'm looking for. I could just steal it. And then I thought, what would Woody do? Roses love sunshine, violets love dew, angels in heaven know I love you, know I love you, know I love you, angels in heaven know I love you. My mama got sick, this I vow. She asked an angel, where are we going now? Where are we going now? Where are we going now? She asked an angel, where are we going now? You are the angel of the mornings and night. Mama loved you, 'cause you're my heart's delight. You're my heart's delight. You're my heart's delight. Mama loved you, 'cause you're my heart's delight. Roses love sunshine, violets love dew, angels in heaven know I love you, know I love you, know I love you, angels in heaven know I love you. Angels in heaven know I love you. Thank you so much. That's for you, baby. And now I'd like to welcome back to the stage. I'll give you a little more warning. There she goes. She's got tiny little legs. It takes a while. This is, I'm telling you, I am just so happy, not only to be on a stage with her, but just playing. And we've been like Zoom rehearsing and stuff. And it's just been a really awesome thing. So let's welcome Muriel Anderson back to the stage.
Well, I was back there talking with my sister and brother-in-law, Lisa and Jeff, and they are going to be in charge of giving everyone in the audience a little jar of sand from one of the very islands that you saw here behind you. So everyone will go with a little bit of the beach with them at the end of the program. So. Shall we try tides?
Sure.
I was talking to somebody there in the audience here who was following the Monday lives. So every Monday I go live at 6 p.m. Central, regardless of where I am. And sometimes it was when we were on the sailboat and I'd have to row out to an island and look for signal to go live with. And sometimes the tides would be coming up so quickly that I have to run in and pull the dinghy up so that it wouldn't float away in the middle. So that was really the inspiration for this tune that I called Tides. And it was one of those songs that started writing itself after a while. It ended up going in a different direction and saying something to me. So you know that when a song talks to you.
Making our way down east, running from a storm, running from the pace of change. Halfway to Roke and upwind into port, I dropped my anchor down and rowed ashore. When an old voice calls from the pier, say there's something that everybody here knows. The tides will rise and fall 11 feet or more. Pull your tender high upon the shore. Currents running strong, swifter yet today. Full moon reflecting clear across the bay. Then to pull away and leaving just a trace of silver sand. Water lines beneath its eyes. Water lines beneath its eyes. Tides, tides. Tender high, high upon the shore. Current running strong. Down, down and on. Much of life will ebb and flow. Long about 4 a.m., laying awake in bed, thinking of what I should have said. All of the things gone wrong, suddenly coming a wave as one, a current that is so hard to shake. Then the morning shines in to say, there's beauty to balance all the darkness. The tides will rise and fall 11 feet or more. Pull your tender high, high upon the shore. Tides, tides. All at once I understand. Much of life will ebb and flow. No need to tie my heart up in a knot. Ease it gently from the rocks. History will show. Soon again the tides will flow. Tides, tides. Ooh, high, life will flow like tides. Much of life will flow like tides.
Well, we should do a little presentation now, because I wanted to thank John Wise, who's watching online. He's been the main, really the main volunteer that's made Music for Life Alliance become a reality. And we are looking for more volunteers if you're interested in helping, especially managing the database that tells who is doing what to get instruments and lessons to kids in this time when it's really so needed. So for this program, we wanted to give a special presentation. I'll pull up the envelope.
Do you have the envelope, please?
To an organization called Music Unites, and they have a program in Chicago that's been just doing great things to get music to inner city kids and the kids most in need. And so I thought that instead of just presenting this to Michelle, since she can't be here, I would have you accept it on her behalf, and maybe in shanty form. Can you do that?
In shanty form. We've been waiting for shanties to hit for 35 years on TikTok, and so finally we got that. So we thought we would sing at least one shanty, and so Music Unites.
Music Unites, a check for them. So.
And I'm going to say, thank you all, which you should say after me. Thank you all. And then music unites us. Music unites us. And this old sea shanty, which I know I've adapted at least once. Now we do invite you all, thank you all, 'cause music does unite us all. Music unites us. The funds will buy some kids guitars, thank you all, and teach them music from the stars. Music unites us on each coast where it is found. Thank you all, Benito Juarez here in town. Music unites us. Choirs, rappers, and instrumentalists, thank you all, sharps and flats and accidentals, music unites us all. New techniques on sorry, it's a little hard to do that sometimes. New techniques in guitar instruction, thank you all, marketing and post-production, music unites us. These things are really cool, thank you all, in the class and after school, music unites us. These things are really cool, thank you all, in the class and after school, music unites us. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so thank you, Tom, and thank you, Michelle Edgar, for everything she does for Music Unites, and thank you all, because part of the proceeds of all these programs go to the Music for Life Alliance that gives those grants. And do talk to me after, or email me. My top secret email is muriel@murielanderson.com if you're interested in helping to volunteer for Music for Life Alliance. That will be just grand. Well, I'll start my little bit of the program here with a tune I'll dedicate to Brian. Do you remember that Hemingway book, The Old Man and the Sea? Yeah. Oh, it was there right in front of me. I couldn't resist. I thought I would, tell the story in the form of music. And I'll have Brian just put a little visual on the screen, and you do the visuals in your head. So do you remember when the old man was just feeling kind of glum? He wasn't catching any fish, and so then he went out fishing and feeling a little better now. He's out on the sea, and then he goes out further and further, still not catching anything, until he catches the biggest fish of his life. and there's this battle between man and fish. And finally, when he gets it, lashes it to the side of his boat, then he has to fight off the sharks. And finally, when he pulls into his little port town in Cuba, he's dragging only the skeleton of what was his fish. So see if you can catch that in the music. Thank you. So did you see the images in your head for the song? Yeah. Well, Brian and I have both noticed that when we were sailing, we were thinking about the places we were going to go and the scenes that we were going to see. And it's always the people that we met along the way that were the lasting impressions and sometimes made long-term friendships out of theirs. So I thought I would do this tune called, a new tune that I wrote for my friend Tom, and this is called Friendship. Thank you. Well, it's been just so lovely to play for you, and thought that we might have you join us on this next one here. Well, actually, I did have a request for one that maybe I'll just do a real quick version of this without the visuals. We had a little request for Little Stevie Wonder. Okay, everyone in the audience and at home, if you have keys in your pocket, take your keys out of your pocket and just hold it in your hand here. And I'd like to end off the program with this. Oh, thank you. We were really hoping you would do that. So, what do you think about Tom Castle, my new friend? Yes. We're going to try another brand new tune. It just seemed that when we were sailing down east, as I say, up the coast of Maine, it felt like we were sailing to yesterday. That these little coastal towns and little fishing villages that haven't changed in a century, and it was just a time that we really needed that. You know?
Yeah.
Yes, and so I thought I'd write a song called "Sailing to Yesterday," and I'll have you take the lead. I'll just throw in some.
Do the second one, right?
I'll do the second one. Yeah.
Okay. Sailing to yesterday, what voyagers would find so long ago. Come aboard my ship to yesterday, my open seas far from the open road. Coming into port now in Crete, a mist reveals a little harbor where fisher sons have sung for their traps as they have done over a century there. Yesterday, on a time machine as nearly old as me. Come aboard my ship till yesterday, my destiny is on the open sea.
The more modern we have become today, where Mother Nature seems a distant kin, the more I want to find a simpler way, if not out there, maybe within.
Sailing to yesterday, what voyagers would find so long ago. Come aboard my ship till yesterday, on open seas far from the open road. On open seas out far from the open road.
Y'all were shooing me back to stage. Well, I want to thank my family again, and thank you, Lisa and Jeff. We're going to be giving out the sand from the beaches as you go, and especially to my family and my parents. And let's have a hand for Brian Allen. Brian, come here, stand up. That's Captain Brian to me. Yeah. Well, we were in Lanesville, Massachusetts. It was actually one of our stops on our trip, and there was an old three-car garage where the family had kept just all sorts of knickknacks for generations, and I was going to throw out this little round thing, and my mother said, "Oh, that's film from 1929. Your grandfather had one of the first home movie cameras." And when we put it on the old projector that we still had, we realized this was during Prohibition, and it's no wonder it was their vacation to Canada. So I thought this black and white silent film needed its own music, and so I called this A Fine Pickle. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. We'll see you next year. See you on Mondays, and be sure to text if you're watching the live stream, and I'll text you right back. So thanks so much. Thank you, friends.